Good morning and welcome back to Books and Gratitude. Today I'm going to give a review of The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. There are books you enjoy and there are books you admire. Then there are books that change the way you see the world. The Handmaid's Tale is firmly in that last category. It's set in a chillingly believable near future and somewhat modern day dystopian right now. Margaret Atwood imagines what happens when the United States is replaced by the Republic of Gilead, a rigid, theocratic regime born from fear, social unrest, and a devastating decline in birth rates. In response, Gilead reaches backward into an extreme, distorted interpretation of Scripture and uses it to justify absolute control, especially over women. The story unfolds through the eyes of Offred, a handmaid whose sole purpose under the regime is reproduction, just like every other handmaid. Through her quiet, observant, deeply human voice, Atwood pulls us behind the carefully polished surface of Gilead and exposes the rot underneath. The cruelty, the hypocrisy, the terror, and the quiet acts of resistance that keep people alive. What makes this novel so powerful isn't shock value, it's restraint, actually. Atwood's prose is elegant and deliberate, sometimes cool and observational, sometimes heartbreaking, sometimes darkly funny in a way that catches you off guard. Offred doesn't scream her rebellion, not at first. She remembers, she notices, she survives, and through her memories, we see exactly how easily rights can be stripped away when fear is weaponized and obedience is praised as virtue. Why this story feels uncomfortably familiar today? One of the most unsettling aspects of The Handmaid's Tale is how closely it now mirrors the real world. When the book, I cannot talk today. When the book was first published, it felt like a warning, and it kind of was. Today, it reads like a reflection. The erosion of bodily autonomy, the rise of authoritarian rhetoric cloaked in religion, the control of information, the policing of women's choices, and the normalization of extreme ideology. These are no longer distant hypotheticals. Atwood famously stated that she included nothing in the novel that hadn't already happened somewhere in history. What makes the book so haunting now is not just that these things have happened, but that we're watching versions of them unfold again in real time across different parts of the world, especially in the United States. That recognition gives the story an added weight. The Handmaid's Tale isn't just speculative fiction. It's a reminder of how fragile freedom can be when people stop paying attention. The novel works simultaneously as a scathing political and religious satire, even though it's not really satirical with what's going on in the world today. It works as a deeply personal story of loss, identity, and endurance, a warning about complacency and silence, and a haunting reflection of power, gender, and control. It's horrifying without being gratuitous. It's intelligent without being inaccessible. And it's unforgettable. I give this book 5 stars, and that's not based on the show, which I did watch, but I read the book first. This is a masterpiece. This is Margaret Atwood at her sharpest, bravest, and most prophetic. It's a novel that remains just as urgent today as when it was first published, if not more so. Now, before I close, I want to pause for a moment of gratitude. We need to be grateful for books that dare to warn us before it's too late. Be grateful for authors who trust readers to confront uncomfortable truth. And be grateful for the ability still to read, question, and choose differently. Stories like The Handmaid's Tale remind us that awareness is powerful, memories matter, and gratitude for our freedom should never turn into complacency. Thank you for listening, for reading, and for caring enough to pay attention. Please remember to like and share, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to see my reviews each week. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas if you celebrate, and have a happy holiday season. Thank you.